All right. So, welcome to the beginning of a series where I'm going to make an entire game in Game Maker. So, first, I'm going to just sketch out essentially what my plan is. So, here's my rough plan. I want to have a little UFO, some kind of little thing, a gadget looks like this. You can see that I am not the world's best drawer, but that's okay. I made some sprites. I'm going to have a UFO. I'm going to have some little people. People. I kind of want them to go in two stages. So I want them to be like calm. And then if the UFO gets above them, I want them to like raise their arms and start running around. And then our UFO is going to have two things. So we're going to have kind of powers. And those are going to be a tractor beam and some kind of like beam weapon, some kind of a laser or something. Okay, so I've got the two kinds of I've got people. People come in like okay and panic, and then I also want there to be some kind of a danger to the player. So the player is going to be the UFO. Their goal is going to be to abduct a bunch of people. And we're gonna have some kind of like little military dudes, like they're gonna have some kind of helmets and like guns, and they're gonna shoot bullets into the air. Military guys. Okay, and roughly speaking, this is my concept for my game. It's not a ton. I want a menu. I want an end game screen. I want some kind of a score. I think I'm going to calculate the score based on like how many people you abduct minus how many people you laser or something. Because I really want to encourage you to be abducting people. If I get like real reachy with this, maybe we'll make some cows and we'll abduct some cows too. That's basically my game that I want to build. I'm going to start with this as a concept. I think you're going to be able to take a couple of hits from a bullet. Maybe 2 or 3, like not a lot. Maybe some kind of a health bar over the ship or a health bar somewhere on the screen. I think that's probably kind of a good idea. I'm kind of modeling this on a Flash game that I played, like, I don't know, 20 plus years ago now. So I think this could be fun. Let's get started making it. So, in order to start making our game, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into Game Maker Studio, and I'm going to I want to make a blank game, and I'm going to call this UFO 10. So this is going to be version, really I guess I should do good versioning. So I'm going to call this UFO 01. So versioning would be, this is the 0.1 version of my game. This is not functional at present. We'll kind of upgrade that, and hopefully by the end of the series we'll get to 1.0. So let's hit let's go here. I'm going to need a couple of things. So my goal today is to get the UFO to have a couple of sprites and my UFO to move with the keyboard. That's all I'm going to try to do. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create some sprites here. And those sprites, I'm really just going to import some sprites. So I'm going to import a UFO static sprite to start with. Oops, I accidentally capitalized an O in there. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and just import an image for this. So I'm going to import, oh look, conveniently open. I'm going to import UFO static dot, yep, I want to do this. Great. You may notice this is enormous. I don't really want this thing to be this enormous, so I'm going to resize it. And I'm going to resize it based on a percentage. And I fiddled around with this a little bit earlier, and I found that 15% was about right. So I'm going to go ahead and hit apply to that. It looks real pixelated here. Don't sweat that too much. I've got a room, so I'm going to just I can't drag it into the room because I don't have an object yet. So let's make an object and then we'll drag it into the room. So I'm going to make an object. This is going to be obj underscore player. And then we're going to set the sprite for that to be our UFO sprite. Then we're going to go ahead and drag that into the room before we hit play. So we're just going to drag that fella in here. And then we're going to hit play and see what we got. Okay, cool. I got a UFO sprite. It actually looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Even though it looked pixelated when I brought it in, it looks pretty solid in there. So then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go into my workspace and I'm going to look in obj player here. I'm going to add a variable first, and my variable is going to be x speed. And then I'm going to go ahead and add an event. And the event that I'm going to add is going to be a step event. And I'm going to do this in GML Visual because I think there aren't enough tutorials in GML Visual. So let's see. First things first, we're going to need to check if we're pressing a key. So I'm going to do if key down, and the key that I want to check is going to be the letter D. That's going to be to go right. And we're going to go ahead and get ourselves another if key, and we're going to check this one for A. Okay, and then what do we want to do? Well, if the key is down, I want to assign a variable. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a variable indicating whether I'm trying to go right, and another variable indicating whether I'm trying to go left. So I'm going to assign D should go right. And I'm going to assign that a value of 1. Then I'm going to assign a variable for if we want to go left. I'm going to call that variable left. And I'm going to set that to a value of 1. And then we're going to go ahead and assign a variable here. This is going to be our x speed variable. Oops, I hit tab instead of enter. So we're going to use our x speed variable here. And we're going to do, let's see, we're going to do right minus left. And I've talked about this control scheme before when we've done keyboard controls, but essentially it works like if I'm pressing both keys, I get 1 minus 1, that's 0. If I'm pressing just the right key, I get 1 minus 0 gives me 1. Oh, that might be a problem. I don't have any zeros in here. Let me show you an error quick. I don't think I do enough of this. So I'm going to try to run this. And I'm going to get an error. And it's saying here that variable of unknown object dot right is not set before reading it, and it's trying to read it at this step value. So we're trying to do right minus left, but we haven't told it what right means yet. Why? Why is that happening to me? Well, that's happening because here I'm assigning right to 1, but I'm only doing that if the D key is down. If the D key isn't down, I need to assign that variable to something anyway. So I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to select this guy. I'm going to hit paste. I'm going to make sure that's attached to the else, and I'm going to set it to 0. Then I'm going to copy this else. So I'm doing Control-C on the keyboard. I'm clicking right here. I'm going to hit Control-V. That's going to paste this in. And then I just want to make sure I adjust that one to be left. Now we should see this. I think this is going to be a little slow, by the by. So I'm just going to go ahead and multiply this value by, let's multiply it by 5. That should make us move 5 pixels at a time. So there's my image, and I'm not getting anything. So why am I not getting anything? Let's see. We're doing lefts. We're doing rights. We're doing right minus left times 5. Oh, duh. I never did anything with x speed. I need to change something. So the thing I need to change is going to be the x variable. Oops. The x variable, like I said. And we want to adjust the x variable by x speed. And we want to make that a relative adjustment. So now let's try it. Okay, so pressing D moves me to the right. Pressing A moves me to the left. That is movement in and done. Let me do one more thing here before I call it on this video. The thing I want to do is I want to look at this background. So right now I've got no sprite for the background. So I'm going to hit, I want a new sprite. This is going to be SPR_background. And I want to make sure that this thing gets the right size. So that window happens to be 1366 by, I need to uncheck that, by 768. I'm going to go ahead and hit apply there. And then I'm going to hit edit image. And I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to grab my rectangle filled tool. I'm going to grab a color that looks a bit like grass. And I'm going to go ahead and fill in the bottom of this rectangle with grass. Then I'm going to just look. See, I've got grass in here. I'm going to run this thing. All right. Oh. Well, that's not ideal. I didn't want it to smear the ship all over the friggin' place. So, all right. I want to make this a little better. So, this is an issue that I ran across. It took me a solid second to solve, so don't feel bad if this isn't, like, immediately coming to you. The issue is that the background here is transparent up there, but that doesn't mean it's using transparency. So what I need to do is I need to go back into my sprite, and I just need to color that top actually black. So color black there, great. Now if I hit play, I'll get my ship. What was happening there was every frame, the background was being drawn, but that upper section was transparent. And so even though it was looking black, it was drawing, and normally it draws black over the top of the previous positions the ship has been in, and that just wasn't happening. So I need that background to be a solid sprite. Everywhere on the sprite needs to be opaque, otherwise you'll end up with that streaking effect. I'm pretty happy with this as a first quick little dive into this game. So next time we'll get some better sprites in here, and maybe we'll see if we can get the ship to tip sideways when we move left and right, and maybe add a couple of animations or something. Thanks for watching. Much appreciated.